All right. Let's see here. Check. Cool. Sound working?
Yeah, I can hear you, Phil.
Cool. Anna's with us. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another Mace Revival. We're back. We got folks in the Zoom class, the actual live class, and we got YouTube Live. Hope everybody's having a great morning. Thanks for joining, Anna. We're going to go on a journey today, building from a very small place at first. We're going to get some open chain mobility in, do some transition work, and a quick 360 swing set. And we're going to further that study of blending the frontal and the transverse plane, okay? And what kind of cool lines we can cut across that plane, all right? And by the end of class, I'm going to teach, hopefully, you all this flow that I've put together. I've been doing it for a while, but I've never really put it into a concise left to right flow. So, and then we'll talk about how it makes us feel, and then we'll give it a name. I don't have a name for it yet, so I was supposed to name it before class started today, and I didn't. Because I didn't want to force it, you know what I mean? You always sometimes you force these names and it's like that's terrible. After like you go through it like 20, 30 times in a row and you own that flow and you're like, this is terrible. That's a terrible name. That doesn't make me feel like that at all. Revisions happen, and this is a good thing. So thanks for joining Mace Revival, everyone. I'm going to have the details in the show notes. If you like this content, please do like, subscribe, share, help me out, okay? And we put the donation notes as well, and that helps our channel grow. So thank you so much. God bless. All right, y'all. Let's grab our standing structure. We're going to go through some open chain mobility, steel mace flow, level 1 style. So just a quick cue up of the standing structure. I know it's hard to see my feet. We got those feet straight forward, and I like to have them anywhere between the outside lines, straight forward to maybe a little bit of a taper outwards based on where your hip mobility is at. So feet straight forward, knees are soft, hips are underneath us, squeezing through the buttocks and keeping those hip flexors nice and tall, reaching tall through the crown of the spine and flexing that midsection down and in. Okay, protecting that line, creating a straight line, and rolling those shoulders down and back. Nice. Lots of tension through here. Let's open up at the hip. And we're just going to create these tucks forward and backwards. You need soft knees to do it. Back and forth. Just take your time. We'll spend another 30 seconds here. Sometimes physical cues help. Try to keep the rest of that spine straight. Maybe vary the angle a little bit right inside your base. Nice. Everyone bringing the standing structure back up as tall as we can get it, keeping those knees soft. All right, we're going to get into some lateral sits here. So keeping this spine nice and straight, a lot of activation through the center. We're just going to open up down here into the hips and treat everything through here nice and deliberate, you know. Getting into that, feel yourself out before getting into those deep dives. You can vary the angle on this as well. Trying to keep that spine as long as we can, as straight of a line as we can, so those hips accept that mobility. Maybe a couple hinges as well. Open chain mobility is jujitsu self-correcting. I had to snap my shoulder back into place this morning. That's not all. That's dead serious. Like I'm like pulling, and I feel all this pain on the outside of it. And like my shoulder's like out, and I'm like, oh no. So like I have to do some manipulation to get that thing in. Nice work, y'all. Let's go to some smooth circles now. Okay, so if you need to start in that custom like 4 pointed compass there, we can, like in a hinge, and then we can come back to center if we're really feeling our mobility out here, and then into the lateral sit, and then out of the lateral sit, nice and strong through the standing structure, and we can push a little into those 4 hips there, and then back, and just get that going. As your hips warm up and start accepting this, let's start finding those 45s and creating some smooth circles through there. Still paying attention to how straight we can keep the rest of our spine. That feels good. Nice work, everyone. 10 more seconds there. I'm going to switch sides nice and purposefully. Nice. I'm just going to switch from the hinge, kind of more strict and deliberate through this new side. Going to full circles when my hips warm up a little bit more. What I try to do is this your part of your process, Anna? I try to like anywhere that's a little sensitive. As I warm up, I'll start to push into that area and maybe control it or own it to the highest degree I can. Sometimes it doesn't smooth out on a given day too, or as totally, Is that like your process, Anna, or is something like that?
Yeah, I pretty much do that. What we're doing right now, I pretty much do this every day, several times a day, throughout the day.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that things, my job, of course, is technically a desk job, so I have to do this a lot, but this is definitely, whatever is tight, I'll attack that first, it's just like, even if it's just a little tiny bit of movement, if I can just get that little tiny bit, well, then that tiny bit turns into a little bit bigger of a movement, and then before you know it, you can kind of roll into bigger movements, and then before you know it, you look like one of those things outside the car wash.
Yeah, the car wash salespeople. Blow up people.
That too.
So
like big funny blow up guys.
And you do open chain mobility like 3-4 times a day. It becomes not only mobility, it's really strengthening. I believe in those ends too. You're doing like a type of strength, right? Owning those positions.
I try to, especially if I'm getting geared up for a class. Because it's not just like keeping mobility range necessarily, but it's also like priming those muscles and that blood flow for actual work.
Yeah. All right, here we go, y'all. Let's lock that standing structure right back up. We're going to get into our mid spine now. All right. So feet straight forward. The knees are soft. Those hips are back underneath us. We're nice and rigid through the center as we grow along. Okay. And you can readjust that as you go, pulling those shoulders down and back. And we're going to really activate through the feet. You need to have that happen to keep these hips nice and solid. And we're just going to insert a little lateral mobility through that mid spine. And start slow and small. Like Anna was saying, I did some of this before class, and so just to get ready for this. So sometimes I have to start really close to home, depending on how my spine feels on a given day. Let's go 10 more seconds here, y'all. Nice. All right, as you round that out, let's bring it back to center and neutral, okay? If you get stuck in the legs a little bit, you can shake them out and then reset that whole structure nice and strong. Lots of anti-rotation, ripping one foot away from the other with that tall hip and those soft knees. All right, let's go for 10 breaths here through the center. All right, so we're going to put this diamond in our heart. We're going to push our heart through that diamond as we take the biggest belly breath up that we can imagine. Here we go. In. And we're rounding through the mid-spine into the C-spine, keeping those hips nice and strong. 9 more. Find your flow, y'all. You don't have to stick with me. Find your rhythm. The lower half is strong. Nice. Halfway there. On your last breath, so I really want you to challenge that breath, okay? I really want you to drive it in. And blow it out. All of it. We got one to go. When you get done your last breath, breathe in and tall, and just take a second. Check back in. Beautiful. Good work, everyone. All right, we're bringing it right up into the mid-spine again. We're just going to not spend too long here, but 20, 30 seconds. Rip those feet apart and hips nice and strong through the glutes, soft knees. And we're just going to have fun exploring the circle we can create through our mid-spine. All right. Whatever feels good. This always gets me unstuck to the shoulder when I guard my heart. Or when the back gets stuck, when I'm carrying a lot of responsibility. Very nice. 5 seconds. Good work, y'all. All right. Bringing the focus right up into our neck now. Let's tune that structure up. Before we go, feet straight forward. We got the knees soft. Those hips are underneath us. We're squeezing through the glutes, through the front. Hips are tall. Rotate those shoulders down and back. And scoot that chin back. Getting that crown as tall as we can. All right, let's start with some neck slides here. All right, so we're going to push these hands into the ground a little bit. You don't have to kill it. And we're going to go forward with our chin and back. So trying to keep that tall posture. Forward and back. Breath helps. Very good. Let's get one more. Nice work. And bringing that back to neutral. We can readjust the shoulders anytime you need there through there. That's no worries. And let's go left to right, trying to drag that ear across the shoulder out line. Sliding that left to right, keeping those shoulders down. Nice. If that's feeling good, let's see if we can create circles, all right? Forward, side, back. Good work, y'all. And switching directions on your own. Very good, yo. All right. Shaking that out and resetting. Just take 20, 30 seconds, explore your own neck. Wherever else needs a little extra love. Maybe it's a little stuck. My trap lines are always like they remind me of those cables on the bridge. You know what I mean? Like high tension cables, like dang. I'm like, whoa. Oh, they hurt so bad.
high tensile strength.
That's it, you know. So that kind.
I feel you.
The kind of strength steel mace flow provides, you know, and that kind of strength requires mobility. You know, it is mobilizing, but we can train a lot of different ways as well, and some of those ways can be super strict and strong, and that always requires some maintenance. I think both in mobility. And I've come to find, you know, deliberate stretching work as well. You know, whether your practice is yoga or whatever type focus stretching. I actually started in like the yin style, right?
Awesome.
Of yoga. That's back when I was motivated to do it by Jeff and Meat Bomb a few years ago. You know, I started there because my body was so jacked up, and then I have like a daily practice, which is awesome.
That's so great, Adam. I'm so happy to hear that.
Oh yeah, my life wouldn't be the same without that. You know.
You and I are similar enough. I can, you know, be after, you know, being a student of yours and being in classes with you this long, I'm pretty sure that neither of us need a whole lot more fire added to us or any more input of fire, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, because when I was trained as a yoga instructor, I was trained in, like, fire. Like, I was trained as a power vinyasa instructor. That's very fast. Yeah, so it's very fast, it's very muscular, skeletally demanding, and it's in a room that's at least 90 degrees. Whoa. It's not hot yoga, because that's like even hotter.
Yeah.
But like I kept getting hurt. My shoulders were always hurt, and I was like, finally after leaving that studio and like getting more of my own identity, I was like, I don't need any of this fire. Like I need some water. So I teach the yin style and also for myself practice it as well.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. I didn't know there was so much, you know, it's like I was so ignorant to that world, like so many other things too, you know, and when I entered the pond, I was like, oh, this is interesting. There's all sorts of styles and dialects and this cool movement. Cool. All right, y'all, we're going to crash through some hip mobility here. Probably spend a minute in this. We're just doing some sun circles with the hips, big, tall hip circles. All right, so keeping these standing structures nice and rigid, all right, through the feet. We're going to work on our soft step here, okay? So we want the tallest body we can have, maintaining the soft knee on the post side, all right? And we're going to push that extended foot. And if this is your first movement of the day, just take your time with that too. You know, you got to open that up as well. And we're going to pull that up and through and down. And we can rotate on the toe, pivot, and then back in place. Let's just bring these through. Left and right. This really works on a one post structure and through your stability. At the same time, you're mobilizing your hip, which moving your mace like that is awfully fun. 20 more seconds, y'all. Let's go one more each side. Beautiful. And from that standing structure, as soon as you're done, we're going to adopt your stance just to wherever you're going to get a nice neutral squat down, all right? So we're going to squat through the heels, strong spine, as low as we can, and just spend a moment down there opening these knees up. nice. On your next breath, push out through your heels. Nice and tall back to your structure. And shake it out. Good work. All right. We're going to just touch on elbow drivers. We're not going to kill it. We're not going to do a 5-minute set today. We are going to do some 360 swings, though. So let's familiarize our shoulders with the movement. And if you're just tuning in and this is the first time with your 360 swing, or you're going through that journey, learning it and dialing that in, the elbow driver is the mechanic to really finish off that 360 swing and truly serve those shoulders the way it's meant to. Okay, so strong standing structure. Any hand can come behind your head, and we're going to take that elbow, pushing it in front as we keep those hips strong with anti-rotation through the feet. Okay, one after the other. And I encourage control, just as my teacher did. Driving that elbow down and through. I'll spend some time opening these shoulders up too first, before I really start putting some intensity through the elbow. Thirty more seconds. And time. Yeah, good stuff, Anna. Awesome, cool. Mobility check. I hope everyone's feeling good. Take 30 seconds or so for yourself. Grab some water, and we're going to get into it. The first phase of this morning Mace Revival operation is going to be 2-minute segments. Okay, we're going to go through 2 transitions that are going to be imperative today: the switch curl and the sword draw switch. Okay, let's do that in our standing structure. 2 minutes each. They're going to follow each other, and then we're going to do a 2-minute 360 swing set to cap that off. I'm going to be really strict in my 360 swing this morning, but those of you who have a relationship with it, let it serve you. Okay, after you've warmed that up, after you've gotten dialed back in on that, whatever you want, 1-to-1, 10 and 2s, flow through your swings, patterns, whatever you want to do. I'm going to stay nice and strict for those that are cleaning their swing up or just getting familiarized with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and cover a savage pickup. Why not? Before we kick into this thing. Here we go. So the savage pickup starts with whatever hand you want controlling your mace, tapping the end of it. Okay, and we're back in that squat stance, whatever your stance is, where you can prioritize your squat, and that globe is somewhere directly between the toes or just out in front. Okay, and then the other hand comes on top. We press those X's out, and then we come out into a Y, and pulling that into our hip line as we squat with a neutral spine, keeping that chin tucked, and we're gonna press off the hip as we high knee through there. Okay, big strong hip hinge on the left or right. All right, and from there, bottom hand catch, and we're gonna get into our switch curl. Okay, so from cross body bottom, coming through our landmark 2, cross body top, into prayer hands. Nice connection with the upper arms there. Nice tall height in the prayer hands. Cross body top, landmark 2, cross body bottom. Make it your own. You can stay very static. Work on that anti-rotation, ripping your mace, crushing your mace, twisting your mace, wherever you're at, and then bring some fluid reps through. Good work, Anna. Nice landmark. Nice work. Back and forth. Good. My timer didn't start, so I gotta keep that thing. Good work, y'all. A lot of tension through the center, keeping our tall spine. Control your mace. Connect with your mace. Feel your feet, feel your hands. Feel your breath. You can get dynamic if you're feeling good. We got one more minute in the switch curl, y'all. If you want to change planes, you may. Keep those hips nice and strong and forward. Nice work, everyone. Let's bring that mace right back to crossbody bottom. Okay, a lot of strength through there. Wiggle the fingers out if you're feeling it. We're going to go into the sword draw switch, okay, for 2 minutes. And we're going to require this as a transition today. So instead of bringing it into a thumb up position into prayer hands, we're transitioning with the elbow out, palm facing out, thumb down, and you can pull that into a landmark 3 for security and put it in landmark 1. You can land in crossbody bottom if you'd like, and we can sword draw switch from each side. We're going to be using the uppercut today. So if you want to get familiar with your landmark 1 or your landmark 3, we're keeping those shoulders down as we do this. For those of you with the understanding of that side body, creating that lat pack. Nice and tall. Take note of where it feels like you may have a less degree of power and control. And that might be an area that we need to work on, maybe in mobility or in strength and mobility. Very good work, y'all. 30 seconds. And we're going to get into a 2-minute 360 swing set in 20 seconds. Nice work. All right. Taking a second to just dress up your standing structure like we did through mobility. And let's bring that mace into warrior stance. You don't have to hold your mace from the bottom. Hold it wherever you're comfortable with. absolutely anywhere along the mace, and you can learn some things through that. Okay. We're going to go into our 360 swings. Into the block, through the dump, through the pull, back to warrior stance. 2 minutes, y'all. Beautiful swing, Anna. Nice strong structure. The arc on that mace is beautiful. Paying attention to that elbow drive to finish that 360 swing off. And noting what separation of the hands can do landing in warrior stance as we rip that mace. Even with the grip that's touching. Beautiful swings, everyone. 1 minute. You can stop in any landmark. Maybe not any landmark. To transition. 10 seconds. And time. Yeah, what a silky smooth swing, Anna. Good work. That looked amazing.
Hey.
How'd them swings feel?
My shoulder's been bugging me for a while.
Yeah.
Because of my hip. So my left shoulder is a little bit cranky, but it's getting better all the time. So it doesn't want to do what I want it to do quite yet, but we're getting back there. So it's all good.
There we go. The journey home. Yeah, my left shoulder is like cranky too.
Yeah, I saw you post that, and I'm like, man, maybe it's universal. Who else has a left shoulder? Raise your hand.
Yeah, right? We're sharing the suffering. All right, we're going to get into kind of recapping what we covered in Mace Revival Volume 3. If you're following along on YouTube, I'm dating myself.
I still say I'm going to take a video.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to tape this.
Yeah.
I'll say I'm going to tape this.
Tape this.
Like, wait,
yeah.
I'm going to take a. I'm going to tape this, and people are like, "You're going to what?" I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, I'm dating myself.
The 80s weren't 20 years ago, Anna.
They really weren't. All right. So we're going to recap what we were doing on the YouTube and Mace Revival Volume 3. And we're going to blend the transverse with the frontal plane. So that's why we covered our switch curl and we kept it really strict here, y'all. So when think of your frontal plane, it doesn't have to exist in front of you. It can exist behind you, and we're going to be exploring that later today. But we're keeping this in a nice controlled window, if you will, or on that plane to keep safe from collision and to be strong where our landmarks exist, okay, and between those landmarks. All right, so we're going to be blending and cutting across that plane to the transverse plane, which exists through here. Okay, it exists cutting through the body. So if you imagine, anything on the horizon is on the transverse plane, right? We covered that helo switch in Volume 3. Okay, so let's blend those two, okay? We spent a lot of time taking switch curl in step 2, how we can really draw the flattest plane that we can through that switch curl to stay safe. and just to understand the relationship of planes and lines in our fundamental work. And then we brought that through a pivot. So if we were here, we would sword draw switch it straight in plane, okay? And we'd allow that to exist on the frontal plane and bring that uppercut through as we pivoted, okay? And you can keep that nice and flat, right? But there comes a day and a time that we want to start creating interesting patterns that exist through that plane, right? And it's almost like what's a good way to put this? Creating nice flat and true planes oftentimes creates a lot of straight lines, right? Beautiful straight lines. But when we cut across those planes, you'll start to see a curvature develop, okay? And it's a different feel. It's different physics controlling the globe out from our body. I want to say there's always an intention to keep our spine really rigid and packed. Maybe not always, but in a lot of Mace movements, there's intention there. But I think when we're moving it in the transverse plane, we really have to focus there because we're providing a pillar with our spine that we can rotate that mace around. And that's where the strength comes from, right? If we have a weak center, the outer tribes fall apart, you know what I mean? The walls start crumbling, Rome's burning, you know, like so. So you want to have a nice strict center line, okay? So what we're going to do is open our uppercut in a very strict manner, okay? I just wanted to demo what we were doing 2 weeks ago. So let's use our forward uppercut with any step, okay? So let coach demo real quick. Good savage pickup, real quick. And our uppercut starts with a over grip, okay? And we can push that into a landmark 1, all right, which is that A-frame, rotated. And we're gonna push that into a cross-body bottom and punch it into a landmark 3. Looking for even windows there, nice tall spine, nice strong hips with anti-rotation through the feet. Okay, landmark 1 through your cross-body positions into landmark 3, the uppercut. Okay, and we're going to pair that over the course of 3 minutes with any step you want. You don't have to stay in one step, okay? So if you want to hit a counter-rotated uppercut, step 1, go for it. If you want to hit counter-rotating into an uppercut, cross-body into step 2, go for it. All right, if you want to unwind your rotation and go against counter rotation, you can hit some of those and get that feeling in. Okay, that's an interesting feeling and it's good to know the difference. All right, or you can step back in a step 3 and still create counter rotation. And finally, creating an uppercut in our cross back step. One way works, one way does not. And you'll start to understand some of that information. All right, you can't uppercut that way though. All right, so here we go, y'all. Grab your mace. We're gonna hit this for 3 minutes. Nice and controlled and deliberate in these steps. Pick a step, really clean that up. If you feel like transitioning to another step, hit it. Here we go. 3 minutes, y'all. We're still anti-rotating between the feet. That's where we get all that pop in our legs when we want to come back up, okay? Let's use our sword draw switch to transition sides when you want to transition sides, okay? Nice straight wrists as you punch those uppercuts through. Focus on control. If you've been crushing your mace or ripping your mace or just predominantly using one anti-rotation over the other, make sure you challenge yourself by changing it up time to time. Good job, everyone. 30 seconds. Bring those uppercuts through. Nice, and time. Good work, y'all. Excellent job. Little uppercut. Basic work, keeping those landmarks straight, keeping those lines nice and rigid. Great work. All right, we're gonna need that uppercut coming up. But right now, I want to go into where do I want to go first. Let's teach the let's teach the ghost hand. All right, from the uppercut. All right, so we're gonna learn, spend some time now in transitioning our mace in a fun and interesting way, cutting across that plane. Okay, so I'm gonna hit a demo real quick. So I'm in an under-over grip, and we're gonna start and use a lot of our cross-body bottom in step 2, okay, to understand this. All right, so we're here, and if we wanted to sword draw switch, we could do that right there like we've been doing the whole time, right? And catching it nice and flat and plain, and just finding that landmark 1 as we heel-toe pivot through there, and then we can drive our forward uppercut through. And you'll notice that it's fun to unwind that, isn't it? And land back in stance. You'll feel that. Okay, so we spent some time creating those nice lines in the last class. But now as you feel this, try to kick your, we're cutting into the transverse, okay? And you'll see some guide hand principles here, okay? And we're really creating an interesting feel through those two planes, okay? Cutting across, and you don't even have to really settle into cross body bottom. You can kind of keep that mace a little higher and clear those legs, right? Setting in. Let's just play with this for a minute or so, okay? Hit a few one way, cross body bottom on the other side with a switch curl, and then hit some that way. All I'm doing there, y'all, is a sword draw switch. And to settle that back in, so we sword draw, elbow out, thumb down, grab that mace with a new controlling hand. All right, that's an over grip, and we grab the other over grip and push that through into our uppercut. And coming out of that, all I'm doing is bringing that to a height where I can create that channel, and the thumb holds that right in place, and I can guide it right back into my under grip. Okay, so here, switch curl, that's just a prayer hands. Thumb down, sword draw, land, coming through, opening that channel when you feel secure in your upper arm position, that lat pat, and drive that up back into the crossbody bottom. Let me check you out, Anna. That's beautiful. So Anna just cut basically from that frontal plane so sharp into the transverse plane, and like was basically almost in the transverse plane, but just cutting through the frontal a little bit. So there's so many exaggerated looks we can create through this one movement. You can create these big swooping circles, or you can be like straight to the point, right? Like cut your uppercut right into place. And, you know, the first time I experienced that, I was like, where did that come from? How did I get here? Right? And there's some magic in there. It's beautiful. All right. Good work, y'all. Time. All right. So we just covered doing that, and now you feel what it's like to cut that uppercut across. And that's where we're going to transition into teaching what I call the ghost hand, okay? I'm going to talk about the move first, and we're going to demo it. And by all means, those of you following along, this is an active learning session, so, you know, have fun with your mace. Play with it. Whip your mace out. Play with it. All right, that's inappropriate. That's inappropriate, Adam.
And that's what I'm telling you, Adam.
Okay, so let's go. I call it the ghost hand, all right? And I'll tell you why after, but it's a feeling, okay? So what we're going to do is just adopt that same uppercut. Why don't we start in a step one, okay? So we'll hit that landmark 3 uppercut in a step 1, all right? And remember how I talked about opening that controlling hand and just creating a rigid thumb line, straight knuckles? That there's a lot of strength in that karate chop like grip, okay? And we're going to use that, keeping our elbow close to home, nice and packed with the upper body, and we're going to create this guide hand here. And you see how I shifted my legs and created a nice long line and opening there? And when I'm ready, I'm just going to flip that hand into a thumb up grip. And that guide hand is now pushing that mace along my upper arm, my forearm. Yes, good. And how we're going to come out of there, y'all, is bringing that. Remember, I told you you're going to need a nice, strong, packed core and center and side body. We're going to bring that around the pillar of strength, down back into crossbody bottom. Yep. Okay. And now from there, how do we get to our uppercut on the other side? We sword draw switch, and we can rotate that heel toe pivot back to our uppercut. Here comes the ghost hand, all right? We're going to punch it here and just start this transverse frontal type diagonal pattern and guide that hand and flip it when you're ready. It's really getting the thumb out of there, if you see that, all right? Nice. And rotate it around the strength. Nice. And then sword draw switch. Any angle you want to come into that uppercut at all. And bringing that through. Boom. Sword draw switch. Pivot uppercut. Guide hand. Popping the thumb off and grabbing. Very confident under grip whenever you're ready. And then pulling that back down and through. Let's go one more minute. Pivot up. And you'll feel some push-pull things going on with that guide hand. Feel that. Keep going, Anna. Let's say 45 seconds. I'm just going to zoom into the camera here to do like a little detailed breakdown of this. You got this going. So, all right. So from that position here, y'all, we're going to open the hand, and we're going to. You see how I'm creating a strong thumb hook there, and I have the straightest wrist possible, really flexing the forearm, keeping the upper arm and the elbow close to home. Okay. So here, open it, and that will provide some rotational capability there. And then you can get to a place where you transition the hand grip. Okay, so boom, we bring that around the center of strength here. Sword draw switch, pivot uppercut, here, open, guide it, pack, Feel strong in that upper arm. Don't have that shoulder extended. We can when we start getting stronger. We understand how to keep that shoulder in. Okay. Good work, y'all. Yeah, Anna, time. Good work. All right, so you guys get this. Anna, you got this on a wrap. So why do I call it the ghost hand? I want to cover that. The reason I call it ghost hand is because I actually discovered it. I'm not sure if I discovered it the simple route first, but I remember the moment I discovered the most complex route that I've ever done. And that's once you get good at unwinding, like, what are we dealing with in there, Anna, right? What are we dealing in the structure and steps? What kind of forces are we I want to say playing on if we're strong in them?
Well, the anti-rotation, definitely, 100%. Especially moving all the way from one side, coming all the way back around and maintaining that core stability while we're at the same time continuing to push even further.
Yes.
So
there you go. So one way it's anti-rotation, and we're really controlling the rotation, right, into our counter. And then there's the opposite way, right, where we're purposefully rotating. You know, we're unwinding. So you would think that we're getting less strong, but we're purposely rotating out of our counter rotation into a strong step.
Like here.
So we're gonna we're gonna stop into a strong frontal step. Okay, right? Beautiful. Yeah. So that's you're seeing that, Anna. And why I call it the ghost hand is because I got good at that movement, and I think I probably got good at that movement with sword swings and pivot uppercuts, and really trying to transition those steps into that from the forward direction to the lateral direction, right? And I created a lot of strength in there. And then one day in free flow, I was just like hitting it, and like I hit that transition or the ghost hand, but I didn't require the guide hand at all. So it was like, so I was like driving it here, and I stepped around, and I just dropped that like here on the palm in the pedestal. You see that? You can create a pedestal almost when you get the right height. So I call that the ghost hand, but it's the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing we were just doing. We just created a bunch of progressive steps, right? Creating the straight wrist, creating the strong thumb. You're training a lot of strength in there. Okay, you're keeping rigidity for strength purposes. And when the time is right, you're loosening that up to a new grip, and then finding rigidity again through that lat and the shoulder position. Okay, and that'll start entering into the one arm movements for those of you who are just starting to explore that. All right, very cool stuff. Cool. All right, last but not least, we're going to get into teaching. I thought about teaching this transition first to show you where we were going. Sometimes my head doesn't work in the best possible fashion, and I decided against that, and now I'm here teaching it last. So we're going to call this for today just a working title, the back transition. Okay, and you'll notice that if we land here in this, what are we in here? We're in bottoms up. This is a landmark in steel mace flow. Okay, we're in bottoms up back because of the relationship with the mace to the back of our arm. Bottoms up side, bottoms up front. Okay, bottoms up front. That just sounds dirty. All right, so and then we got bottoms up side, and then we got bottoms up back. Okay, or rear. So we're here, and you can create the thoracic to turn for you if you're finding that and I think that's better anyways, because we're creating a lane for this mace. Okay, so that's where we're at. We're going to learn the position now, okay? We learned the position, now let's end the transition. So we're going to come to a pyramid stance with those feet and knees pointed towards the stars. And we're going to align this mace and start to open the tendons and letting it fall towards the pinky. We're catching thumb up in our new grip. And we can even push-pull here if we don't have that tendon strength yet. And we're in the same exact position on the other side where we can rotate it back to home in our cross body bottom. Okay, let's hit that again. Okay, I'm going to bring that around, strong here. We can turn the thoracic if we need extra room. Okay, our hips are tall, our glutes are squeezing. We bring it back. We're in a pyramid pose, dropping that mace, thumb up, transition. You can let gravity do the work, slide that into the new working position, and we're back home where we left. Here, here. If you guys really squeeze the side body in that lat, really squeeze that down, you'll find a lot of strength there, and it keeps the upper arm close to home, keeps that shoulder nice and safe. Let me check you out, Anna. Yep, that's it. I knew you had that in the tool shed there. Nice. Little lateral press. Boom. That's cool. That's it. So this is a very fun and fluid transition we can get to in the back. And it's showing you a relationship here too, as we start to explore some of this globe controlling one arm type stuff. Sword swings, really. We're seeing that we can come from a strong position to more of a loose in the arms and in the tendons, manipulating that mace for freedom of movement. But what is really strong? What never loosens up? For this movement, it's our center. Okay, really create a lot of strength through here, because you'll notice the stronger you are here, the easier this becomes. It just, all that strength goes right into the fingertips because nothing leaks out. Okay, and you can create just really cool progressive back switch patterns there. And look at that, works really well with the switch curl, doesn't it? The switch curl's there. Boom. Boom. Lots of cool side sword swings. Really showing you how you can open that thoracic up too to provide yourself a space or a plane for that mace to go, and keeps the shoulders safe, right? Good work. Good work, Anna. All right. So I think we have, it's like, so check it out. Kate's been like watching a lot of kids baking championships sometimes, and she gets like a moment with our son, and then like, so he's checking out kid. I feel like I'm teaching a mace class with like kids baking championship. We got all the ingredients together now, guys. Let's go ahead and bake the cake. All right. And the cake today, it doesn't have a name. All right. So, so I'm just going to show you this cool flow. We're going to experience it. I'm going to crush the music too. Let's do it for like, I don't know, we'll do it for like 4 minutes, okay? And just have some fun with it, making it your own. I'm going to tune it up and be very strict and rigid in how I control for viewers' sake. But let's talk about the parts first, okay? So let's drop into crossbody bottom, okay? Crossbody bottom. We know all the parts. We're just going to put them together, okay? From a crossbody bottom here, we're going to create that first sword draw switch. Any cut across the plane that you want to make, landing in your uppercut in step one. Okay, from that, we're going to open that loop and create that back pattern where we switch the grip back to our step two. Okay, and then we use our back switch to transition sides, and we're going to pull it back into a crossbody bottom. Okay, crossbody bottom to start, crossbody bottom to end. Okay, and we're going to transition with a switch curl for sides. Okay, and then we're going to hit the sword draw. Beginning of our flow into a pivot uppercut, creating any degree of cut across that plane that you want. Here we go. We're going to open our hand and guide that mace. I like to guide it up to somewhere around that first yellow hash, right above the knurling. You'll find a nice balance point there, and then you can guide it into place, opening your thoracic or counter-rotating to the degree you want. Pyramid stance to get room for that mace tail. Back switch, and we can bring it in. Okay. Now, I'm going to cover that just real quick before we get into this. Switch curl to switch sides. Sword draw switch. Landmark one in the uppercut. I'm sorry, step one in the uppercut. Right here. We can guide it here. Cutting here. Hit the back transition. So right here, we can either pull it out along that body line, or you can swing it out, just clearing that leg and let it kind of fall back into its stance from a strong landmark. Okay? Switch curl, sword draw, switch, pivot uppercut, ghost hand, to the back switch, pivoting it out. Nice. Very good. All right, let's start this timer. Coach has got to find a song.
I gotta let you know, Adam, I'm gonna do this free flow with y'all, and then I gotta go because I got math class that started at 11.
Okay, Anna. I'm really good.
I just don't want to
Thank you.
leave you without saying goodbye.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, and I'm grateful for you coming to class today, and it was great to move with you.
I'm grateful to be here.
So let's enjoy
I'm grateful
this.
to be here.
Yeah. So we're going to be in a step 2, a lot of this movement, guys. We're just transitioning leg to leg, okay? If you need to give it a break, just come back up to your standing structure, maybe hit a swing, shake it out, okay? And then get back into it. Here we go. Starting across body, bottom, in step 2. Sword draw, switch. Uppercut into our pivot in step 1. Ghost hand transition as we guide that mace into a nice long sword grip there. Pyramid stance to allow the tail. Nice tall spine, strong hips. And pulling that back into your crossbody back. Switch curl to switch sides. Here we go. Pack that core. Beautiful transition, Anna. Take your time in the back transition if you're understanding. A lot of strength between your feet. Try to crush that floor. Rip those feet apart. Activate that leg strength. Nice tall spine. All right, y'all. One more time each side. Beautiful transition work. Nice high step, man. feel your flow. Last two sides. And time. Dang. Beautiful work, Anna. Way to blend that into your own movement. It really looks strong. Anything come out as we taught that flow? Any emotions? I know you got to go, Anna. Makes you feel like a peacock.
This is important too.
What's that?
I don't know. This is important too. There's something really special for me about the pairing of. I'll put this down. Put that in me. I'm not 1,000 feet in the air with that. There you go. So for me, I mean, footwork aside, really practicing this rotation to come all the way from here, and then being able to bring that all the way, like with this control all the way here. This to me is like power.
Yes.
It's big time powerful.
Yeah.
Right? Because not only is it really fucking hard for me to hold that up, but also like it doesn't really matter like what stance you're in. Even if you were just like standing straight up, or if that mace was angled backwards, you know, like anytime you can see that mace behind somebody, I think is like really impressive. And then you can like make lines to either go against it or go with it or go with, you know. So, but being able to bring that all the way around like that, like anything that comes around my body, like that is like so much dependent on that core, which is like the center of us.
Yes.
And just sum it up, I need to feel super, super safe and super strong and protected. And one of the ways that I can do that with exterior forces, I suppose, is to practice strengthening that piece of myself, because that physical strengthening is going to also be strengthening for my groundedness mentally and all that.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
I love it, Anna. I love you. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I wish I could stay longer and talk. I gotta get into math class.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to check out the flow online. I'm gonna name it right after you sign off. So
maybe I'll come up with a name. If something comes to me, I'll make sure I stick it in there.
All right. I love you, Anna, and have a blessed rest of your day. Yeah, thank you.
I love you too. Thank you.
All right, y'all. That was super fun sharing this with you. Look at that. I didn't even check the time until just now. It's super cool. Hey, what's up, Brad? Brad's checking in. Hey, he's a jiu-jitsu partner of mine down at the local leverage school. Robert Hugus Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. RobertHugisBJJ.com if you want to check it out. All right. Yeah, he's a great teacher and just responsible for really raising us tribe up around here with our leverage and our choke game. So blessed to have him, and I'm blessed to have you guys. So thanks so much for joining. I look like a sweaty wreck. I'm gonna name that flow. Did you hear what Anna said at the end of that? She was talking about it makes her feel powerful, cutting across that line. I think it makes us feel. I'll speak from my own state here. I think it makes me feel powerful. It resonates with me because, well, especially in the Steel Mace Flow journey, right? In Steel Mace Flow level 1, we spend all this time creating these strong and straight lines that are structurally sound, and this is order, right? This is rules, and we're following them, and we get super strong because of it. And it's funny that doing so provides freedom of spirit. So it opens up a lot of things. Okay. So as we get through those strong lines, you get to the end of it, or as you start exploring your own mace movement and your own work, seeing how you can take those moves, take those landmarks, take this knowledge and blend it with how you want to move, right? You don't have to move like me. You don't have to move like Anna. You don't have to move like Leo or Serena or any of the other Steel Mace Flow crew. You move like you, okay, but this stuff works, okay. This is the rubric to move and get strong in those positions, okay. So I think that's why long road to the short answer here makes me feel powerful, because I can break those rules. But you're not really breaking the rules. You're doing it to a higher degree, a higher level. And once you see that, you realize, oh, I'm still in the order of things. It's just I've ascended beyond straight and strong lines. And it's always applicable to go back to that and clean up our foundation. Remember, foundation forms basics. Basics form the entire foundation of what we do, okay? So it's fun to break those rules and feel strong. And when I saw her hold that pose and say she felt powerful, I noticed that I saw a artistic rendition, an ancient artistic rendition of Musashi in that same stance. So yeah, I'm going to name that the Musashi flow. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys for joining me on this journey. Mace Revival, Volume 4. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Please like, subscribe to this channel. It really helps us out here at the Ludus Combat Club. If you're interested in going on a steel mace flow journey of your own, go on over to steelmaceflow.com, okay? That is really truly a pinnacle of mace evolution and mace education over there. And it's really where I got all of my foundation and those basic things. So there's many journeys on over there to find. They might have a sale going on right now, so I'd go check it out. Great people to work with. I love you guys. God bless you all, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. All right. Thanks for joining me in the Musashi flow. I'll see you next week. Cheers.